Do Jedi Council members have assigned seating? And my guess is actually no. I don't think they have assigned seating. And my reason for that is because we see various seating arrangements of the Jedi Council. So in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and I know I'm going really fast through these images, but it's because I've shown these images a lot in my previous videos. But in The Phantom Menace, we have, of course, Plo Koon, Mace Windu, Yoda, Kiadi-Mundi, Saesee Tiin, Yaddle, Evan Peel, Oppo Rancisis, Adi Gallia, Yarl Poof, Eth Koth, Depa Billaba. And then, of course, in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, we have Plo Koon, Mace Windu, Yoda, Kiadi-Mundi, Saesee Tiin. Shaak Ti has replaced Yaddle, Evan Peel, Oppo Rancisis, Adi Gallia, Coleman Trevor replaced Yarl Poof, Eth Koth, and Depa Billaba. Whereas in Revenge of the Sith, we have Plo Koon, Mace Windu, Yoda, Kiadi-Mundi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Agent Kolar, Anakin Skywalker, Coleman Kaj, Saesee Tiin, Kit Fisto, Shaak Ti, Stas Ali. So, why is the seating arrangement in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, so different from Episode 2 and Episode 1? And so, to recap, in case it's hard to see or I went a little too fast. So, while in Revenge of the Sith, the first 4 seats are the same as the previous 2 episodes. It's Plo Koon, Mace Windu, Yoda, Kiadi-Mundi. Next to Kiadi-Mundi was Saesee Tiin in The Phantom Menace and in Attack of the Clones, but in Revenge of the Sith, Saesee Tiin is all the way over here. Saesee Tiin is all the way on the other side, while Obi-Wan Kenobi is where Saesee Tiin used to be. And of course, Agent Kolar is new, Anakin Skywalker is new, Coleman Kaj is new, and Kit Fisto is new, but Shaak Ti, who was originally where Agent Kolar was sitting, is sitting all the way on the other side. So why, how, and why on earth did that change? And it goes back to my theory of, I think there is no assigned seating. So there are some episodes in the Clone Wars where actually Obi-Wan Kenobi is sitting next to Yoda, and that's obviously just because, I don't have the picture here, but that was obviously just because they didn't have character models or the designs ready for Kiadi-Mundi yet, so that's why. But if you look, the seating arrangement, I know I'm going a little too fast, it changes a lot, because in the Clone Wars, in this is season 6, like episode 2 or something, Coleman Kaj is on the very end, whereas in Revenge of the Sith, we see him much closer to the center. We see him right in between Saesee Tiin and Anakin Skywalker. So, and then here, Obi-Wan Kenobi has taken Saesee Tiin's seat, but Saesee Tiin has taken Shaak Ti's seat, and Shaak Ti is somewhere else. I mean, she's actually in the center here, talking in hologram to the Jedi Council. But yeah, my point is, the Jedi Council seats just seem to change a lot now, don't they? Now, Kit Fisto's seat is ironically much close, exactly where it is in Revenge of the Sith. But, oh, that's interesting, because Shaak Ti was in Saesee Tiin's seat at Attack of the Clones, and then, of course, Oppo Rancisis was actually in this seat right here, empty seat right here, but he's moved 1 seat down. And then we have Shaak Ti next to Oppo Rancisis, but on the other side of him, and she wasn't next to him before. And then, of course, we have this time where there are a bunch of empty seats, and I said that's just because the character models weren't ready yet, but still, it's worth noting. And, of course, here we have Bernie Sanders sitting on Agent Kolar. It's a funny meme, but it was a picture online. And then, of course, we have the micro series where things are different. And I really like this picture for the micro series. I'm going to come back to it in a moment. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be much of a consistency as to where the Jedi Council members sit. And and this one. Well, in another episode, we saw Saesee Tiin sitting next to Obi-Wan Kenobi, but here there's a seat in between them. And we see Saesee Tiin sitting next to Oppo Rancisis. Whereas in another episode, there was an empty seat in between Saesee Tiin and Oppo Rancisis. So you're seeing the difference in the pictures just by looking at them. See here, there's a seat in between Saesee Tiin and Oppo Rancisis. That's interesting. See? But that's not the case right here because they're next to each other in this episode. So I like how the Clone Wars showed many different seating arrangements for the Jedi Council because it really plays into how the Revenge of the Sith seating is very different from Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace. Now let me get to my actual theory. I know I've been stalling and drawing this out a little long, but the point I want to make here, oh, by the way, this is what very important. Coleman Codger's here. Eth Koth used to be in this seat right here, but now he's moved over to this seat. This is from season 5. And Kit Fisto and Shaak Ti are next to each other, but Kit Fisto was sitting right where Eth Koth was in later episodes, but he's sitting right here. And Shaak Ti is right here, and Shaak Ti is next to Stacey Tin and next to Kit Fisto as well, so she's in between them. But yeah, so what's going on? And my guess is whenever they have Jedi Council meetings, the meetings are incredibly important, regardless of what Anakin thinks. The Jedi Council meetings are actually important. And so when there's Jedi Council meetings, they gotta get seated, they gotta get into the seats and just start the meeting and go right away. There's no time to waste trying to get in their favorite seat. So I think what happens is the Jedi Council members walk in or join via hologram, and they just get into whatever seat is empty, and they just start talking. So that's why we see so many different seating arrangements for the Jedi Council. I think it's because Jedi Council meetings being as important as they are, Yoda and Mace Windu just want to get them started and rolling and going as efficiently as possible. Of course, Yoda is incredibly slow, but the point is they want to do the meetings as fastly and efficiently as they possibly can. So therefore, whenever the council members walk into the room, they just sit in whatever seat is available, empty, whatever seat they want is seated. And of course, there are people who like to sit in different places all the time, so maybe that happens too. And they just get in and roll with it, and they just sit down. So I don't think the Jedi Council members have assigned seating. I think they just sit wherever, and I think that is precisely why the seating arrangement of Revenge of the Sith is so different from Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace. Of course, I think the out-of-universe, the standard explanation is that maybe George Lucas just wanted to switch the placement around just to play around with the design and have fun. But the reason I love this picture right here is because it is so similar to Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace, but it pays great attention to detail. So we see Plo Koon, Mace Windu, Yoda, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Stacey Tin, Shaak Ti, Evan Peel, Oppo Rancisis, Adi Gallia. However, we see Kit Fisto, and obviously Kit Fisto replaced Coleman Trevor, who died on Geonosis at the hands of Jango Fett. So we see that Kit Fisto has replaced Coleman Trevor. And then we see Eth Koth, and now, by the way, Eth Koth, the one that appears in the micro series, he's credited as, I believe Agent Kolar, but that's obvious. He looks more like Eth Koth than he does Agent Kolar, so that's another thing, but they are two different characters. But anyway, so we can say Agent Kolar replaced Eth Koth, okay. Anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi, we can see, is sitting where Depa Billaba used to sit, so I think back when the micro series was made, I'm not sure if the Depa Billaba expanded universe stories had come out yet, but basically in the expanded universe, she turned to the dark side, and then of course she came to her senses, and she was in a coma or something, and she was recovering in the Jedi Temple, so she was removed from the Jedi Council, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi took her seat. So so I love that they kept the design for the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, but just replaced Coleman Trevor with Kit Fisto and Depa Billaba with Obi-Wan Kenobi, so this is a great picture. So I think the Jedi Council has no assigned seating. They just sit wherever and get the meeting done and over with as efficiently as possible.